Hello, everybody. Welcome to Let's Talk, and I want to give a round of sound for my good friend Rene Holiday, who is going to talk with us today. Hey, Rene, welcome.
Hey, Miss Ashley. Or I can
How are
say
you doing?
Ashley.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, Miss Ashley?
I'm great. I'm wearing the lovely Je ne sais.
Je ne sais.
Just wearing my wrap. Well, Miss Holiday, I have brought you to Let's Talk because you are one of the people that inspired me fashion-wise. Not only are you a good friend, you're a good person, but fashion is your thing. And so I kind of want to give a brief synopsis of how we met, and then without further ado, we'll go
Okay. Okay.
Oh, we met once upon a time when I decided to move to LA, as most actors do, right?
Yes.
To see what they could bring to the table out there. And we worked in a retail store together. You were our manager, one of our managers, and you are born on the West from the West Coast. And so, but you had an East Coast vibe about you that I clicked with instantly. And so I was like, yo, this lady is phenomenal. I love her. She's gorgeous. And you're real. It was a breath of fresh air to see that. So I learned so much from you business-wise as well as fashion-wise. And that's how we became such good friends. And so
yes.
I don't know if you want to expound upon that, but
yes.
That's how we met, was at this retail store in Manhattan Beach.
In Manhattan Beach.
So we were by LAX, and we sold at this really profitable, lucrative business where we dressed people. We held fashion shows. We held events, and we know about cuts, A-line versus straight line. Hems, no hems, the way the trousers hang on a woman's body. Do you want ankle length? Do you want full length? Yes. Do you want high waist? Do you want button down? Full blouses, what does that mean? Steaming like nobody's business.
Right. And don't forget clipboard folding.
Clipboard folding. Yes.
Clipboard folding.
For days. Piles. Okay, that was
have t-shirts and jeans looking like bricks.
The brick fold. Yes, the brick fold on the jeans. Oh my gosh. Throwback. Floor moves, the floor changes. Oh man. That reshifting the whole store. Petite versus regular size. Oh man. The backstory in that. Oh Good times. Okay, so that brings me to my first question. What or who influenced you in this world of fashion?
My influences come from my grandmother and my great aunt Carrie, her sister. So I can remember being as young as 5 and 6 years old, and these two women being dressed impeccable from head to toe. I mean, they are both passed on now, but up until their late 80s, they were still dressing. They did not leave the house with their hair not done, nails not done, makeup on. And I always noticed that. And I would go and spend weekends with them at their home, because when both their husbands passed away, they shared a space together. And I didn't realize, at 7 that they were having cocktail hour, but I can remember them asking my mother, oh, let her come stay with us for the weekend. And I was like, this is going to be fabulous, because they let me play in all their junk jewelry. They'd put me on the floor. I would just put on fake jewelry, thinking I was playing in diamonds and rubies and furs. And meanwhile, they were having cocktails and caftans and, shooting back the cocktails. And to me, that was the glamorous life. Like, wow, to look good and drink. That's a
I can just imagine them sitting back and just having a good old time.
Having a good old time. I'm in the middle of the floor playing dress up, and I don't want to say they were getting drunk, but they were drinking because ladies drink. They don't get drunk, ladies drink.
Mm-hmm.
And I just always grew up, that's what I always saw. Even as I got older, my grandmother, I was 21 drinking with her at this point, having cocktails.
I
Let's
love
go out to lunch. And we get dressed up, and to me, they go hand in hand. But they were definitely my first influence where I recognized women's clothing and how women dress and how they carry themselves both indoors and outside for the public to see.
Right, right. Now, let's progress. So these lovely ladies introduce you to the world of fashion and sophistication and what that means. And you go forth, and as you're growing and you see the way the world is with fashion. So are there any artists that kind of gleamed on after that and influenced you fashion?
Oh, absolutely. Because I'm an
actors,
80s kid.
Performers? Yeah.
I'm an 80s kid. So by the time I hit college and I went to the Fashion Institute, I didn't want to go to a regular college, which I thought my father was going to have a heart attack because in his mind, I'd always ran track. So he was like, you're going to go to, UCLA or San Diego State. He wanted me to go to a 4-year school and pursue a track career. And I was like, yeah. So I found this school downtown LA, but they're like,
They thought you were on the Olympics, child.
I was way ahead of my time. I was like, they could not see the vision. My parents were just like, wait, a school for what? To learn what? I want to go to Fashion Institute, and I'm going to study colors and this and this and this and this. But it was in the mid 80s, and Willie Smith was really popular at the time, and he was a big influence on me because that's when I fell in love with women wearing menswear. So my brother had like Willie wear suits, and I was sneaking jackets and pants. I didn't care if they were big. I'd belt the pants and wear the waist up high and just wear a little crop top. I was also influenced by Madonna. Madonna was a huge influence. Madonna made it okay to wear lingerie outside. So when my father was giving me the stank face, like, where are you going? And I'm in a strapless bra with jeans. And I'm like, I'm going to the club. I'm going to dance. And of course, Janet Jackson.
Of course.
Of course, Janet just took it to, just elevated even more.
Right.
But those would be my top 3.
So that would be your top 3. So now you're coming into the world of retail, right? Mm-hmm. And we know retail has shifted since back in the day. Yes. So what made you get to the point to leaving retail and starting your own business, which is Sunflower and Honeypots?
I just got to a point where I feel like I had, learned so much from the different retailers because I spent 99% of my retail career was spent in clothing. Mm-hmm. And then I spent a little bit of time in the coffee industry, but my heart was always in clothing. So I just got to a point where I was like, wow, I really don't want to work for other people. I don't want it. I'm tired of working for other people. I don't mind working hard. I will bust my ass every single day, do whatever it takes. But it was to a point where I wanted to do it for myself. I was tired of making other people rich and wealthy off of my labor.
Right.
And yeah, so that really was it in a nutshell. I was like, I've learned how to run the business. Why not do it for myself? Why not do it for myself?
Right. And disclaimer, everyone, when you work in a retail shop, I don't know if they do this now, but when you do floor move, you be sometimes in the store folding, steaming till like 2-3 o'clock in the morning. Some store, retail store, you had to do that on a monthly basis or every 2 months or every quarter. So I can totally understand because I'm no longer in the retail business. Why you got tired of it?
It's horrible. I mean, I remember, and I'm not going to name any retailers. I won't throw anybody under the bus because I loved all the managers and district managers that I worked for. But I remember working for the last clothing retailer I did work for, and the district manager and I were expecting a store visit from the owner of this company to come through. And we worked 18 hours straight, preparing the store from front to back, back to front, to where we were literally laying on my on my stock floor, just like laying there, half asleep, like, okay. Then we're like, okay, we can go home and sleep for like 2 or 3 hours, and we're gonna come back. And the man didn't even show up. And that's actually common in retail. They like to keep you on edge. They like to, scare you per se. And I was like, we worked. And that was when I was like, I just worked 18 hours straight. I've never worked 18 hours straight. And this man just took us off his calendar and went on about his day.
Wow. Man, so I can see why you're like, and Sunflower Honeypots, here I go.
Exactly. I'm like, God, your clothes weren't even that cute anyway. At least, with sunflowers,
Right.
I wear many hats. I'm doing it all, but I'm doing it. So.
Right. So when you started Sunflower Honeypots, what was their focal point? Because we know with female apparel, you can come at it in every kind of angle. So what made you start with the head wraps and scarves?
I was already wearing head wraps. I had been wearing head wraps at that point for probably 15 years, maybe, because I had long dreadlocks when I lived on the East Coast, and I never wore my locks down. I always had them pulled up, wrapped up, and out of the way. And then I was like, once I finally learned how to actually tie the African head wraps, because I was using whatever fabric I could find for my dreadlocks. But then saw the African wraps, and I'm like, okay, I want to learn this. I want to master this. And I started working the wraps, and I said, I need to teach this to women. I'm going to sell this to women. And I started off with made 5 head wraps. Didn't even know how to sew. I just took some sewing classes at Joanne so I could learn how to work the sewing machine. I took some sewing classes, and through a little bit of trial and error, I knocked out my first 5, and it's gone from the 5 to everything you see now on the
website, which we will put the link on somewhere, shape, way, or form on www.sunflowerpots.com. Okay, now you started with head wraps and scarves, and then I started seeing you slowly progress, because this business has been going on for
almost 5 years.
5 years. Yeah. Oh my gosh, you almost had your 5-year anniversary. Congratulations.
Thank you.
My goodness, 5 years. I'm like, wow, yeah, okay. So I remember during the pandemic, we did a live on the Sunflower Honeypots page.
Yeah. Yes.
And then we collaborated with this beautiful head wrap here.
Yeah, we
and
did.
Then I saw that you started progressing. So you went from head wraps and scarves to actual hats with pieces of the...
I was recycling the fabric. So any leftover fabric from the head wraps, I was like, well, I can't throw this stuff away. Let me see what I could do with it. So I just started playing around with it. And I'm like, you know what? People wear hats. Let me see, how can I get the fabric on that's all that stuff I was just teaching myself how to do. But people were buying it. So I kept like, okay, well, let's challenge ourselves to make this, and let's challenge myself to make that. I don't make the clothing. So if you go on there, no, I do not make the clothing. Do not ask me to make you any clothing. The clothing is outsourced. So, but once I did find places, I was able to get the clothing, because people were asking for the clothing. And I said, okay, let me see if I can find this, because I know people want it. And then that was a game changer right there, once I was able to secure clothing.
Now, where do you see yourself progressing with Sunflower and Honeypots for the next 5 years?
The next 5? Oh my goodness. I hadn't thought about that. That's a good question. I'm trying to get to the next 5 months. Oh my But I think for me and sunflowers, I started because I already started doing less of the pop-ups because I was doing a lot of the markets, the pop-up boutiques in different, I don't know what they call them in other states, but here in LA, we do like the farmers markets and different pop-up events. But I started doing less and less of those because I wanted to streamline more traffic to the website. So I see myself learning more on um, things like this, probably doing more lives, more, what is this called? Video
YouTube, it's gonna
podcast.
be YouTube
Um,
content,
I know.
social
This
media
is where it's good to have a 24-year-old daughter who's studying social media marketing is her thing. So definitely this seems to be more the way that
Zoe.
what's that?
Shout out Zoe.
Shout out to Zoe. But I know one thing I definitely want to incorporate in because I'm happy to see where the business is going. But I do tend to I want to dabble more in sewing and start creating like original
Pieces.
or get vintage pieces and start incorporating the African fabrics. I'm basically, if I see something that can be done with, because I'm obsessed with the fabric. What the thing is, I love the African wax print fabrics. So I definitely want to try different, whether it's sewing.
Well, you do the bags now too. The little side bags.
Yes.
That is so cool. Those are actually really cool because, especially when you're in New York, you need something small,
Exactly.
convenient that you can throw some cash in, your Metro card in, and go about your day.
And that's exactly where I've been shipping them to the East Coast. I was like, the East Coast people are going to be on top of this, and they are.
Listen, you need a small bag. You can't have something
Can't have stuff in your hands. Got to keep your hands free.
so you can pick and move. And yes. So it's a good bag to have. So if you please go on the website, purchase. Now we're gonna tie all this into entertainment. You being that you live in LA and you've also lived in New York, what have you seen by people that come in? Because we know people come in and out and ask you your opinion and your advice because we trust your judgment when it comes to fashion. If someone is an entertainer, what are the basics that they should know in regards to finding out what looks good on them or the color palette that they should be aware of?
First and foremost, they need to find, if not a trusted friend, a trusted stylist who's going to be honest with them and let them know, because your skin tone plays into that, how you wear your hair plays into that, the shape of your body plays into that. I'm not a fan of telling somebody, oh, you need to lose weight to fit a certain thing. I'm all for, let's find the best way for you to wear that particular piece. What I love about Sunflowers and Honeypots is my pieces are typically cut fuller. They're cut fuller, they're cut for curvy women. I'm just now starting to dabble in knit, so I'm bringing in some more fitted pieces, but I'm bringing those pieces in to be worn with like the loose pieces, if that makes sense, because I have those kimonos and things like that.
And stuff like that.
Yeah. But I think that people, particularly women of color, don't be afraid to try new things. Don't be afraid to wear the bright colors. Don't be afraid to show a little bit of skin. The halter tops that I saw all kinds of stuff on there that are not over sexual, that does completely sexualize a female, but definitely gives them the confidence to wear and try new things.
So with that said, if anybody needs a stylist and you're in the LA area, please call Miss Rene Holiday and she will provide you what you need to know. What is your favorite film that kind of highlighted fashion to you in that world?
One of my all-time favorite films is Carmen Jones with Dorothy
I was right.
Dandridge.
I was right. I was like, I hope she says Carmen Jones. Okay, yeah. Carmen Jones, because I was thinking, I'm like, yes, okay, yes. Carmen
Those dresses. And my mother, whenever my mother and I have a conversation about Carmen Jones, she always reminds me that when that movie came out in 1956, 57, somewhere around there, she was in high school. And she was like, the rage was everybody had to have the Carmen Jones style dresses that they wore in that film. And I saw the film in my 20s, not knowing this was a big film to my mother in high school, but I definitely recognized the fashion in it, particularly that of Miss Dorothy Dandridge.
I was right. Yes, Carmen Jones. Because I was like, it has to be Carmen Jones. I'm not trying to set myself up. Failure.
I had to think of just other fashionable moments in film for me. Scarface, because I think of Michelle Pfeiffer, right?
Yes.
That's and the dresses that she wore, like she had these when they would go to the discos, and I recognize that immediately. Who else?
I'm thinking Lady Sings the Blues.
Yes.
Diana Ross. Yeah, I vividly remember watching Scarface for the first time and seeing Michelle Pfeiffer in that all white gown.
Yeah.
And she stood out. That's why, what's his name say? That white girl, that Michelle Pfeiffer. Bruno Mars knew what he was saying when he said that. Oh, wow. Now, Miss Rene, not only could people reach out for you for styling, they could reach out for you for sunflower and honeypots. What other things within the world of entertainment can they contact you for their needs? Because I know you also help organizing. I'm trying to put all your trades out there.
We're going to keep it a fashion. If people want to collaborate, they can reach out to me for collaborations. I also have my little lifestyle blog, Rene Holiday Image Style. And on that page, I highlight different places and to go in LA, different restaurants, museums, whatever little hot things might be happening. Keep in mind, I'm 54. So if you're 21, I don't know if you're going to like the stuff that I post on there. This is for the mature crowd, crowd.
Look at how looking at 54, looking like you're 25. Let the people know.
But you can also get those secrets on the blog too.
Okay, so you got to go to Rene Image blog, okay, to get those secrets, because
those secrets are there. But all your fashion needs, styling needs, even if you just have a question like, what to wear? I'm going on a job interview, or I have a date coming up, or shoot me a DM, shoot me a call. We can FaceTime, whatever, and cover your needs.
That's it. Miss Rene Holiday, is there anything else you would like to share with us? You have any advice for aspiring people in the fashion world, coming in, coming out? My
advice would be, don't be afraid to sweat. Don't be afraid to get dirty. It's not pretty. So do not confuse pretty pictures for what it actually looks like behind the scenes. If you're like me, you wear many hats, and I'm sure like you wear many hats when you have your own business, especially when you're first getting started.
Right. It just brings me back to the saying that someone said, like, you can't, let's say you see the things, the accolades that people have, and you want that for yourself, but you don't know the blood, sweat, and tears behind those accolades. So in order
exactly.
to, it's what's the Shakespeare line? Heavy the burden that wears the crown. Or which actor or actress that you love what they wear when they are on the red carpet?
In all honesty, I think one of the people who I still, when she decides to come to the red carpet, she does not come often, but when she decides to come, who I absolutely love to see is Lisa Bonet.
Oh yeah.
And I love the fact that you might only see her once every 3 to 5 years, and then she's done. And given what's happening in her personal life right now, we may not see her out on the red carpet for another decade.
Not a decade.
Just saying.
Miss Bonet, if you see this, please don't wait a decade before you grace us with your presence on the red carpet. We'd like to see you. We love what you wear. Is there any other besides, is there Regina King or Miss Bassett or?
Oh yes, but I mean all of them. What did Issa Rae say?
Everyone black.
Everyone black gonna say, what did Issa say? I'm rooting for everyone black because I know they're gonna bring it.
Right.
They're gonna bring it. Now,
what is your color for this season? What would be your go-to color for anybody who's looking like, what color clip or color top, or what would you recommend for this season?
Well, my go-to, I mean, my everyday is it's a new gloss by Fenty. It's just a hint of color. Can't go wrong with Riri. That's my everyday. When I want to get dressed up, then I switch to the red lip. So,
right.
Because I love Miss Ashley. She got the red lip tonight. And I'm really into, like, right now, I'm really into being comfortable. So I'm really into like t-shirts and jeans, and I'm finding accessories like the kimonos that are on my site. I'm loving those. Anything that you can get that's like fancy, like one accessory, like you have the head wrap on. All you need is one great accessory and color, and everything else could just be
mute.
Jeans, t-shirt. It could be beige. It could be white. It could be, and then just add one pop of color, and that's really all you need.
I like that. I just finished reading the biography that Diane Carroll wrote, and I didn't know this about her, but in the start of her career, she was like, I am so pretty that I don't need to wear accessories. I want everybody to see my face. So she never wore earrings or necklaces in her films.
Really?
Yes. She wanted everyone to pay attention to her face. And as she progressed in her career, she would pick and choose when accessories were necessary, when it wasn't.
That's a good point. You know who I do like, now that you did mention that, whose style I do love to watch is Meghan Markle.
Okay.
Because she has that casual, it's like effortless style with whatever she decides to put on. She seems most comfortable in her jeans and t-shirt, but she could definitely glam it up when she wants to. But I just really like watching her. She just owns who she is. You could tell it's authentic. It's not put together. Probably what pissed off the palace. They couldn't.
All right. I'm trying to think of any other things. Oh, so we did advice for people. We asked you what you see yourself in 5 years. Is there anything that you would give somebody who doesn't live in LA or New York, but is thinking about moving to one of those two cities and pursuing fashion? What advice would you give that person?
Oh gosh. Well, I did the same thing on both coasts. I did retail, but now, I mean, and that was so many years ago, we didn't have social media. You can decide what your angle is going to be, and use social media to your advantage. So if you want to be a stylist, then find photographers. When I was in New York, I would reach out to different photographers and ask them, hey, can I, just style these shoots for you? And that created different relationships for me. Funny thing, in Los Angeles, my brother's in the music industry, and I would always find out about his music videos, like after the fact. I was like, how come I don't get called to work on them? I think he was trying to keep me off set so I wouldn't be chasing the boys. But
because it was like, I do not have the time.
And not be bothered.
And nobody over my so we just gonna keep this separate.
The fashion in LA, everything does seem to be more industry related in LA, because it is Hollywood. So if you can, you might have to just, take some free gigs. If you can get a job just serving the coffee on set, but
right.
Whatever you have to do to get your foot
in the door.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you just picked on something really interesting. You said LA style versus New York style. How would you describe the difference between the two? And what does that entail?
LA has no style. I'm sorry. I'm going to offend my LA people, but you don't have any style. There's no individuality out here. New York, I think, because you walk more in New York, you're more visible, you're more face to face. So damn well you can't walk out the house with no busted hat, a busted outfit, and busted shoes. You better coordinate from the top to the toe.
It's true.
Accessories, scarves. When I first moved to New York, I didn't know, when I was one of those people looking busted the first year. And when I realized, oh my God, these people actually match their hats, and it was the dead of winter. Nothing, I couldn't buy anything. It was spring line was already out, but I learned real quick by year 2, I knew what I needed to do. But in LA, it's definitely much more relaxed. The one thing I do notice about LA style is, yes, it's relaxed, but you want to purchase the pieces that accommodates your budget. So if it's, keep in mind, we're T-shirts and sweaters, and we're a little bit more relaxed and comfortable. But, celebrities are probably buying the $500 T-shirt and the $1,200 jeans. Yeah, you can go to the Gap and get the same look. You still want to look put together, not necessarily as, it's just different from New York. So, it's a little bit more. Does that make sense?
I feel like New York has more boutiques that you can go to, individual boutiques that you can go to, like in Soho and Chelsea and whatnot. And you can find things and pieces. And there's like a sense of wanting to have a little bit more originality. Whereas in LA, it's like everyone has the white T-shirt and jeans with the leather jacket. Like that's the go-to look.
That's the go-to look. And everybody's trying to either be, everyone's trying to be Beyonce or Kim Kardashian. So, you have to find the best gym.
You got to find the best gym. So originality starts from within.
Yes.
And then it just pours out, right? So that's the beauty.
Yeah.
Is finding out who you are, what you like, what's your own favorite color. Like Miss Holiday's favorite color is
yellow.
And mine is blue. But I know that when I'm on screen, there's certain colors that pops out more because of my skin tone. And so I'm going to wear those colors more to stand out, whether I'm doing a self-tape or this channel. I know what colors make me look more appealing to the camera and to the viewer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why you have the trusted friend to let you know, girl, that looks good, or nah. That's
Right. Or the cut of the top. I want a button down top, but I don't want a front button. I want it to be like a back button shirt. Where do I find it? What color? I think that happened between me and you one time. There's audition.
Oh, that's right.
I need a Sapphire outfit. What can you do? Like, I was like, Rene. And I
was like, give me a day. They got to send you all these links. Like, here you go.
Exactly. And I
Here's
found
one.
top, and it looked great for the audition. I think I even got a call back for it, and they all complimented me on the top. So thank you for that.
My pleasure.
She knows what she's doing, people. She knows what she's doing. Okay, so I definitely see what you're saying. I feel like though in the last couple of years, maybe because of the pandemic, New York has gotten a little lax.
I've heard that from other New Yorkers. I have a friend in Brooklyn, and he's like, yo, these girls just come out looking busted. I got this, what's this left with this yoga wear? I'm like, well, that would just be a Tuesday in LA.
Now, this is a good question. Do you think certain brands that are coming out, because I know exactly which yoga brand he's probably referring to that is causing this look, but do you think that certain brands are causing this kind of change in fashion and how we wear clothes? Because, you know, the saints, the grandmas and the aunties, they're telling me like, I remember back in the day, you couldn't even get on an airplane unless you dressed like you was doing something.
I don't know if it's so much the brand. I think the pandemic, people just, you know, you were at home, so we didn't dress up, and I think that retailers accommodated that and gave us nice loungewear so we could still look good and feel good at home. And as women, you know, we just decided to keep it rolling, keep it pushing. I don't necessarily see anything wrong with that. So, you know, when he said it, I was just kind of like, well, I don't know, maybe because that's something that's typical here in LA to see the women, and especially young girls, so especially girls in their 20s and 30s, that's typical for them to run around in the yoga outfit, whether they're going to class or not.
Right. I'm like, I've seen it. I've seen like certain yoga, they throw on their little puffy jacket and they're like, I'm gonna go run an errand. And I'm like, I don't remember New York being like this.
But I'm trying to picture that in New York, and that might look weird. Yeah, that probably does look weird in New York, but out here
You're used to it.
You're just used to it. Yeah.
Okay. Now, Miss Holiday, anything else? Anything you want to say to the viewers before you go for the evening? Any well wishes for the new year?
Ouch. I challenge everybody to try something new in fashion that you've always wanted to do that you've never done. Try something new, whether it's a color, whether it's, you know what, I'm going to start wearing hats, or it could be something that's like paint your fingernails. I don't paint my nails, so that would probably be a good one for me to try because something I don't do. But challenge yourself to something. Don't be afraid to try it.
Thank you. Now, I do have one final question because it just popped into my head.
Yeah.
What piece of wardrobe should a woman always carry, and what piece of accessory should she always have?
Something in her wardrobe she should always carry?
Yes.
Like something to wear?
Something apparel. So like, you know how they say little black dress?
Okay. Yeah. Okay, I get it. I would say a nice trench coat.
Ooh, okay. A nice trench coat. Why?
Because that's something you can lay over jeans, throw on your sneakers. It just pulls an outfit together. You can wear it with your jeans. You can wear it with your leggings. It could be something as simple as, I know khaki seems to be the go-to. If you're not a khaki person, maybe try it in red. I have one in yellow.
Right.
You could get one in blue. You can get one in green. But it's something where you can just literally throw it on and it instantly pulls your whole look together.
Now, what piece of accessories should lady always have?
A nice bag. And I would say, but that's conducive to your lifestyle. So don't be so quick to run out and buy a Louis Vuitton or a Gucci bag. You definitely want to stay within your budget. But as we talked about the crossbody bags, If you're in New York, then of course you're either going to want a nice crossbody or a big tote because you're on the train a lot and you need your hands free. I find myself right now, I seem to be living in a fanny pack because I'm constantly running around, and sometimes I throw it across my shoulders like a crossbody, and it's brightly colored because lately I've been in jeans and t-shirts, so it's like, let me add a little color and throw on this, fanny pack. But definitely a nice bag that's within your budget.
Right,
If
right.
you're budget friendly, do not feel you have to keep up with the Joneses. I have stuff that's, I got stuff from Target that I absolutely love.
Right. Target, everyone, is Target for those who don't
Target.
know, but Target, for those
Target.
who are true fans, is Target. Okay.
And if you're
I
looking
have
for,
I have the same little cross thingy that I got from Lululemon. That I love. It's quick, it's small, it's convenient, but I am gonna probably get something from Sunflower and Honeypots because I love the bags and I think it's fabulous.
but those would be my two things. Get you a nice trench coat and a nice bag.
Or a nice duster from Sunflower and Honeypots as well.
Oh, yes. The dusters and kimonos.
Yeah.
I got covered on those.
You got those covered. So I will definitely put the link of Miss Rene Holiday's beautiful, beautiful business, Sunflower and Honeypots, so you guys can shop that. And we just want to thank you so much for giving us your time and sharing with us your love of fashion, the difference between New York and LA fashion, and what it means to be in the industry. We really appreciate you today.
Thank you so much for having me, Miss Ashley.
Thank you so much, y'all. Check the link and bye.
Yes. Bye.
Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.